first passion for motorsport was pretty early on because my father was pretty heavily involved in motorsport, and so was my grandfather. So it was probably early on, maybe when I was 3 or 4 years old, up at our farm, our family farm. So we were up there playing around in cars. We had like an old Volkswagen Beetle. It was like a basher through the bush. So that's sort of when I first started driving, sitting on Dad's lap up there. My first racing experience was when I joined Eastern Lions Kart Club, racing junior national light category. So it was a club day, our first race. Started off sort of pretty off the pace. Obviously first race meeting though. I think I got lapped twice my first ever race. That was a bit of embarrassing. We just started progressing from there, doing more club days as we went along for the first year. And then after that, so we started doing more state level racing in karting and sort of bigger events, more into the national races as well throughout Australia. So we did that for 5 or 6 years in go-karting. Won a couple sort of championships in the senior ranks and then moved on to cars after that. Biggest mentors in motorsport would have to be obviously my dad to begin with, and George Pana. So he was the owner of the first race team that I drove for in Formula V. So we sort of clicked straight away. We got on really well, and he helped me out quite a bit after I finished racing with him. So we did Formula V for a year with him, and then moving on into Formula Ford and Formula 3. He's always sort of been there by my side, helping me with my driving career, sort of giving me advice, helping me with sponsors, giving me contacts to talk to as well. So he's been a really big influence along the way. After karting, we went to Formula V State Series. We did that for a year, which were pretty successful. I think we finished our second for the championship, and it was my first year in cars, so I was pretty happy with that. So with that momentum, we went to Formula Ford State Series the year after, and again we did pretty well, so we won that championship. Progressing from there into 2012, we did a bit of Formula Ford National Series. We sort of had a bit of a struggle with budget that year, so we didn't do any full series. We did a sort of one-off races here and there, so the National Formula Ford Championship, and then we did a couple of appearances in the Australian Formula 3 Championship as well, which was an awesome category. It's the first time to wings the Slicks car, so that was really good. We did a bit of Aussie racing car as well in the same year, one-off rounds, and then that was it for 2012. So then in 2014, I got an offer from one of my close mates that runs a Formula Ford team, Mallory Motorsport. So we went back and did Formula Ford again with him, but this time more as a mentor role for some of the younger drivers, so sort of coaching them, helping them throughout the year. 2015, one of my good friends, Garth Rainsbury, he owns a Dodge Viper GT3 that he races in the State Series. And we sort of always joked about it for the whole year that we'd do Island Magic together. So towards the end of last year, November, he gave me the offer. We did the race together, 1 hour sprint race. That was really good. And then with that momentum from there, we got the offer with MPC to drive in the Australian GT Championship. So obviously on the weekend, it was my first race in the GT category. So there was a lot of work building up towards it. So it was about 6 months of preparation to finally get there. So teaming up with Liam Talbot, I was sort of really excited for the weekend. You know, he's done a lot of racing overseas, so I was pretty excited to be driving alongside with him, and also with MPC, so the Audi Custom Sport racing team. They're sort of the benchmark really in the Australian GT category. On Friday, I'd never driven the car. We didn't get to do a test day beforehand, so I was sort of a bit nervous going into the weekend. But once we got in there, I got in the car in the first practice session, sort of started to feel fairly comfortable with it all. It was a big rush actually sort of getting in there. We didn't really get a lot of practice time to sort of get myself familiar with the car, so I was sort of just thrown straight into the deep end. But yeah, I adapted fairly well. And then on Saturday, sort of we had our 2 sprint races, which the first race, we were a bit unfortunate. Liam started the race and he got a flat tyre on the outlap, so that sort of put us a lap down straight away. So we finished 25th in that race, which is a little bit disappointing considering sort of our pace was sort of aiming for the top 10. But then in the second sprint race, I started the race and handed over to Liam for the rest, and we finished up 6th in that race, so well exceeded our goal, sort of aiming for top 10 and finishing 6th, so super pumped with that one. And then, yeah, on to Sunday with the main race, the 101, the endurance race. We got a pretty good start, sort of made our way up to the top 10 mark, and then really unfortunate, sort of half an hour into the race, we had a high-speed tyre failure. That was at the beginning of the lap as well, so it sort of cost us a lot of time to get all the way back to pit lane. got the tyre change, but yeah, again went a lap down, so it really hurt us. And then for the rest of my stint, I stayed in for the maximum that I was allowed to do, so that's about 55 laps. So yeah, pretty much head down, pushed on as hard as I could, try to make back the positions, and then you handed it over to Liam for the rest of the race. He did a really good job as well, but then at the end we got another flat tyre just on the last lap, so that again hurt us. We lost a few positions, but in the end finishing up 14th was fairly happy with that, considering what happened. 2 tyre failures and also the competition that we're up against. It was probably the strongest field that they've ever had in Australian GT, with multiple. We had supercar drivers and factory drivers coming over from Europe. So to finish, just outside the top 10, we were pretty happy with for our first attempt. I do a lot of physical training, so every day in the gym, and keep my fitness up, running, bike riding, that type of stuff, a lot of cardio. But also for work, I do a lot of driver coachings with Mercedes-Benz and a few other manufacturers as well. A lot of private coaching, so I'm always in the car, sort of driving around a racetrack nearly every day. So it's sort of keeping me focused, keep my eye in. So that's sort of the main preparation that I do towards all that. Also a little bit of work on the simulator as well, so try and get on at least a couple of times a week and cut a few laps around there, which sort of helps out a lot with the mental side of things. So away from all the racing side of things, I have a drone company, so we do a lot of aerial photography and video photography. So I do that with one of my good mates, Elliot Barber, that I also race against as well. So we've sort of had this company going for about a year and a half now. So I sort of focus a lot of my time towards that. And then got a couple of hobbies as well, into dirt bike riding, so I did a lot of riding there. That's also really good with preparation, just your physical fitness as well. Obviously it's quite hard being out on the bike, so I do a lot of that. And also again back to the drones as well, sort of as a hobby side of things. I build my own drones and do a bit of racing, sort of first person view racing that I've got going on at the moment. Yeah, sweet.
As an amateur driver in the GT3 Cup Challenge, I've been in that for the last 3 years. This is my third season now. It's a 6-round season. Generally speaking, I do either 3 or 4 races per year.